Hi folks, Paul here with Advanced Water Systems, the Kinetico dealer in the greater Richmond, Virginia area. It's the beginning of February here and the temperatures are getting kind of chilly, so we need to talk about freezing and protecting your investment. First and foremost, freezing is never considered a warranty item. It is 100% one of those things that can be prevented in most cases. So let's talk about why it's important and how to do it. Your equipment, regardless of what it is, can look similar to either one single tank with a valve on top that controls its operation and either controls timing or some other metering to count how many gallons goes through it between cleanings or regenerations. The Kinetico twin tank technology always has two tanks. It's the best system that's out there. I'm not just saying that because we are the premium Kinetico dealer. We wouldn't be selling it if it wasn't the best thing. Typically the way a Kinetico system operates, and this is important to know about freezing, is that one tank for most of the pieces of equipment is in operation and the second tank is sitting there idle. So this one's not moving, this one is moving. There's some basic strategies with most people. If you want to prevent freezing in your house, you leave your faucet trickling. That, for one thing, is a terrible thing to do to the media in there, because a trickle is usually a very, very low volume of water going through there. And all of the devices, no matter who makes it, unless it's just purely on time, will actually count how many gallons. So the Kinetico system, water comes in, goes down and gets processed in the media that's in here, which only can take out or condition a certain amount of water. And then the water comes out of there, comes on up, makes a turn, and as it's going past this turbine, it can actually keep track of exactly how many gallons. Then it goes on the way out of the equipment. So that's the basics behind how these things operate. The problem is that even though Kinetico has one of the most sensitive meters that's out there, most of them are down at about 0.2 gallons per minute is where they start to not be able to detect flow anymore. When you are down in that range, you can still be putting over 300 gallons a day right through your tank without it even knowing it. So that exhausts the media, causes the media to start to be overused. You end up with calcium, iron deposits, whatever else may be in your water if it's a water softener, and then you start dealing with resin fouling. So we really don't want to trickle because it exhausts the media. And the second big reason is even if that's a last resort and you don't really have a choice, it's still not going to protect the second tank, which is sitting over here by itself, not being used. So your trickle will all be going through one tank, and the other one's going to sit over there and freeze and blow up. So trickling is not really the best option. Better option is to actually protect your equipment, the entire area, from freezing temperatures, but most importantly, drafts. Not giraffes, the big long-legged animal, but draft, wind, air blowing in. True stories, we have tons of them, but in our warehouse, it was 50 degrees inside the warehouse, and we had a tank too close to the bay door, and it actually froze and blew up because it had water in it, and there was a little draft blowing through the seam of the door when it was single digits and it was some pretty bad wind. So that stream of cold air actually caused that whole tank to freeze. So do whatever you can do to protect your equipment. Put tarps, blankets, whatever you can do to basically insulate it. Just, you don't want drafts to hit the equipment. Next thing is to make sure that the temperature doesn't get below 32 degrees. You can do that with heaters, heat lamps, depends on your situation. If your equipment is in a crawl space, make sure that your crawl space ventilation vents are closed for the wintertime. That is definitely one of those things that we see a lot of folks forget about, and they end up with draft blowing right through the crawl space, and that can cause problems. But pretty much that's keep your crawl space or the equipment from freezing, protect it from drafts, and if you have to use the trickling method, at least make sure that you go and start a manual regeneration on your equipment as soon as you possibly can, just to make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to. I hope this video helped, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thanks.